In the sport of fishing, most people take the time to enjoy being outdoors, but they don't realize how the rod is actually set up. The fishing industry has changed drastically in the past 20 years, so it opens up more ways to set up fishing equipment. There are many ways to set up a rod and reel, from a certain reel to putting a specific line on a reel can change how you are able to set up your rod. Many variables have to be put into consideration to ensure your setup is suited for the fish you are targeting. Even knowing the simplest of setups can make an angler that much better. The most simple of these setups, according to Outside Online, is a spinning rod and reel with monofilament line, and that's what I'm going to show you how to set up today. So there is a couple different types of rods and reels. The reel that we're going to be focusing on today is a spinning reel. This is just one of the more basic types of reels, and it's just a free spooling line with a bail, and you flip it and cast it, and you can set your drag, which is it's a very good reel. This reel is a bait casting reel. It's a free spooling reel. If you flip the bail, it free spools. This tends to be a little harder for some people to fish because it tends to, if you don't use it right, it tends to kind of backlash on you and knot up. So I kind of stray away from this for beginners. Other than that, we go on to line types. So there are a lot of different types of lines. From fluorocarbon, which is it's a kind of a plastic line, and it's kind of stiff. It doesn't have very much stretch to it. And then the other one is braid, which is basically rope. It's a whole bunch of little string braided to make a really strong line. This has no stretch at all, and it tends to be suited for bigger fish or yeah, it's not the best line to use for a beginner because it tends to knot up on you. But lastly is monofilament line, which we were putting on today. This line is very stretchy. It gives a lot of leeway when you're hooking into fish, and it's actually overall a decent line. It tends to kind of have memory, which it coils up on you a little bit, but other than that, it's a decent line. So, how to put on your line? So, basically, here's the rod and reel that I'm going to be putting line on today, and all you have to do is flip the bail, put 2 overhand knots. If you don't know what an overhand knot is, it's basically how you start by tying your shoe. You just put one loop under the other and do it. You just do 2 of those, and then secure it to your bail or to your spool, and tighten that, and end up securing it with the tape so it doesn't come off or break off when you get lower in line. So once you do that, I tend to I made this little setup. It's all it is 2 objects, and then in between it is a pencil and the line that you would be using. So all you want to do is basically, I don't know if you can see me, but basically put slack on your line and just reel. Putting slack on the line tightens your line and keeps it from being really loose. Other than that, all you have to do is put, usually the bail or the spool has how much line you're supposed to put on there, and in this one it's about 145 feet. That should be enough. So after you're done with that, you want to kind of break this off just with your teeth. You can use scissors. It doesn't matter. Once if the line's a little bit heavier, you're going to probably want to use scissors. Or if it's braid, you're going to need to use scissors because it's very hard to cut with your teeth. So before I started tying the line on, I fed the line through the eyes of the rod, so I can just go right into tying my knot. And so there are many rigs and knots and when you're setting up your rod, but I'm gonna put according to Medium.com, there's like many ways to tie knots to your bait, but there's like polymer knots or sturgeon knots. But today we're going to be focusing on the clinch knot. This is the most simple of knots to tie, and as I show you, I don't know how well you guys can see this, but all you have to do is put your line through the eye of the hook and bring it through. Have enough, maybe 5 inches of line going through the loop, and then you just start spinning your bait, or you can wrap it around the other side of the line and just wrap it maybe 5 to 8 times. It doesn't matter. I mean, the more knots you have, it tends to be a little stronger. Okay, I about have 8 or 9 loops or wraps around the line, and by the eye of the hook there is a little hole or loop where you can stick the tag end of the line, the end of the line, and you just stick it right through there, and you're gonna have another loop which you can put it through again and make it an even stronger knot. But just for the demonstration, I'm just gonna tighten it, and all you have to do is cinch it with a little spit and pull it tight, and you should have a really sturdy knot. It shouldn't break. And then there's going to be a little tag into line, and you just break that off with your teeth or your scissors. And there's a basic knot, but there's also you don't have to tie it just straight up to the line. You can do other rigs, such as a bobber rig, which is just putting a bobber, just tying the hook and then putting a bobber on just maybe 6-7 inches or however deep you want it. But there's other rigs, such as like the 3-bait rig, which you can put multiple hooks on a rod, and then you can fish 3 baits at once and have a possibility of catching 3 fish. But there's endless possibilities to choose from. According to Take Me Fishing, there's over 100 rigs you can rig up, over 100, which is endless possibilities to catch fish, and it's very good. There's very good demonstrations on how to tie those on TakeMeFishing.com. And that's all you have to do just to tie up your rod, and you're ready to fish. And just knowing the basic equipment for fishing can make you that much better of an angler. Whether you're trying to find whether you're trying to find what line you want to use with your reels that will suit your needs, some things you need to take into consideration. Using specific techniques like trying a certain knot or even how long your rod is can drastically change your outcome of your day when fishing. At the end of the day, the main thing you want to do is have a good time. And making your fishing setup the best it possibly can be can help your day be that much more enjoyable.